Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today's painting is called Evening Rhythm by the Harbour, a watercolor scene capturing the golden light of dusk along a Sydney street, with jacaranda trees in bloom, the opera house glowing in the distance, and the everyday pulse of city life flowing through the frame. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through 4 steps to paint this piece from scratch. Step 1. We'll lay down a light pencil sketch to map out the composition. Step 2. We move into the first wash, building the sky, the harbor, and the atmosphere of the scene. Step 3. We add detail and depth with dry brushstrokes. And Step 4. We bring everything to life with shadows, highlights, and those final touches of contrast. For this painting, you'll need permanent orange, cadmium, yellow, cobalt blue, neutral tint, cadmium red, and burnt sienna. We'll also use sepia, yellow ochre, black and white watercolor paints in the later stages. Your paper should be a 3-size 300 GSM cold press watercolor paper and have your round, flat, and point brushes ready to go. Alright, let's paint. Step 1. Pencil sketching. We begin with a light sketch using a soft 5B pencil. Don't press too hard. Watercolor is transparent, so we want the pencil lines to almost disappear under the paint. Sketch the main street lines converging toward the harbor, the silhouette of the opera house in the mid-distance, the rough shapes of the cars, the trees on either side, and the buildings framing the scene left and right. Keep it loose and gestural. This is just your roadmap. The paint will do the storytelling. Step 2. First wash. Start by wetting the entire upper portion of the paper with clean water. We're going to work wet and wet throughout this first wash, so keeping the paper moist is key. Mix a soft cobalt blue and sweep it across the sky, leaving lighter patches near the horizon where the evening haze softens the blue. While the paper is still wet, drop in touches of permanent orange along the lower sky to suggest that warm dusk glow. For the jacaranda on the right, use a mix of cobalt blue and cadmium red to create that beautiful violet tone. Dab and bloom the color wet. On wet, let it spread naturally into petal-like clusters. That soft blossoming effect is what makes watercolor so magical. Now, while the paper is still wet, and this is important, drop in the opera house. Use a light, mix off neutral tint, and cobalt blue for its shell-like roof shapes. Because the paper is damp, the edges will bleed softly, giving the building that hazy, atmospheric quality of distance and light. Technique tip: wet and wet for the opera house. Apply paint while the paper is still damp from your initial wash. This creates soft, diffused edges, exactly the effect you need for a landmark scene through evening atmosphere. Never paint the opera house on dry paper at this stage. You'll lose that sense of depth and distance. For the right side building, use a warm mix of burnt sienna and cadmium yellow. Let it bleed softly downward. Don't worry about detail. We're building atmosphere, not architecture. Move to the left side. Wash the building facade with a diluted burnt sienna, leaving whites where light catches the stone. Add a second jacaranda tree, using that same violet mix, cobalt blue and cadmium red this time with a slightly warmer note by adding a touch of permanent orange. Now bring your wash down into the street. This is where the warm oranges of the pavement come in. Lay a generous wash of permanent orange and cadmium yellow across the foreground road surface, letting it glow with that late afternoon light. Drop in some cobalt blue for the cooler, shadowed areas. Let the colors mingle freely, wet on wet, allowing them to create those beautiful natural blooms and textures that watercolor is famous for. Step back and let this dry completely before moving on. Step 3. Detailing. Now the paper is dry, and we switch our approach. We're moving into dry brush work. Less water, more pigment, more control. Technique tip: dry brush technique. Load your brush with paint, then blot off excess moisture on a cloth. Apply with confident, deliberate strokes. The brush will skip across the paper's texture, creating broken, energetic marks, perfect for car bodywork, road surfaces. and building details for the blue car in the center foreground. Use a mix of cobalt blue and neutral tint. Block in the body shape decisively, leaving highlights unpainted. Add darker tones, almost black. Underneath for the shadow beneath the car, paint the left side cars with cadmium red and burnt sienna. Keep the shapes impressionistic, a few well-placed strokes red as a vehicle far more effectively than painstaking detail. Use yellow, ochre and sepia to warm up the midground, the pavement between the cars, the pedestrian railing near the harbor, and the ground plane receding toward the water. Now we add the human element, and this is where the painting comes alive. For the cyclist in the middle of the street, use a single, confident stroke of cadmium red for the torso, and neutral tint for the bike. Keep it simple, 2 or 3 marks maximum. The viewer's eye will complete the figure. The bare tree trunks and branches are painted with sepia and neutral tint, using your finest point brush. Work quickly with calligraphic strokes. Thin at the tips, slightly thicker at the base. Let the branches feel alive and organic, not rigid. For the pedestrians on the right footpath, use the same approach. Small gestural marks of neutral tint or cadmium red. A dark blob for the body, a lighter dot for the head. Grouping 2 or 3 figures together creates a sense of casual city rhythm. Finally, drag in the building windows with sepia, small irregular rectangles. Vary the tone to suggest rooms lit from within versus those in shadow. This gives the architecture its lived-in feeling. Step 4. Highlighting and connecting using black watercolor. While diluted to a cool dark tone, paint the long cast shadows of the trees across the foreground pavement. These shadows are your strongest compositional lines. They lead the eye into the painting and anchor the trees to the ground. Keep shadow edges soft at the edges by blending slightly with clean water. The shadows should dance across the warm orange of the road, creating that vibrant contrast of cool violet black against warm gold. Technique. Tip. Values of dark and light. A great watercolor painting is not about color first, it's about value. The relationship between your darkest darks and your brightest lights is what creates drama. Push your darks further than feels comfortable, and protect your whites fiercely with black watercolor. Intensify the deepest shadows under the cars, in the window recesses, beneath the trees. Along the bottom of the buildings, these dark anchors make everything around them feel brighter. Now for the magic touch white watercolor. Use your finest brush to add highlights. A glint along the car roof, the shimmer of light on a windscreen, a sparkle in the wet pavement, bright accents on the jacaranda blossoms, and the brightest points of the opera house shells. Step back frequently. You're not just adding detail, you're conducting the flow of light across the entire composition. Each highlight you place should feel earned. Ask yourself, where is the light source? Where would it catch most strongly? Those are your white moments. Finally, review the painting as a whole. Does the eye move naturally from the foreground through the street to the harbor? Are the darks and lights balanced? Make any final adjustments, a touch of color here, a shadow there, until everything sings together. And there we have it, Evening Rhythm by the Harbor complete. Thank you so much for painting along with me today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a like, leave a comment below, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. I'll see you in the next one. Keep painting.